I'm Daniel Humm. I'm the chef of 11 Madison Park here in New York City. I'm so excited to guest curate the upcoming contemporary sale here at Sotheby's. I never really thought of myself as a collector of art, but more so as a collector of life. Collecting is about curiosity, and that's the beauty of it. Welcome to 11 Madison Park. Let me show you a few things. Art in a restaurant is very special, and it's special to the artist. In 2017, when we did a major renovation, at that point, the restaurant was 20 years old, so we did a renovation. We were just named the best restaurant in the world. And as we're renovating, one of the most important rooms of it is obviously the kitchen. And the stove that's there, that I've worked on at that time, for 15 years, created most of my recipes. I was very excited to get a new stove. But there was also something sad about leaving the stove behind. I asked Daniel Turner about a show that he did in Berlin at the Königsgalerie. He dissolved the materials of this cafeteria that he had a special connection to. First, he graded it down into like dust, basically, and then he dissolved that dust into a liquid. And then he took that liquid and he sprayed it onto these concrete floors. And that was the entire show. He didn't hang any art on the wall. You just walked on it. And I thought it was so cool. I asked him if there's any way we could use the stove to create a work of art. The idea of this sculpture is to step on the past, to be in the present. Most people who come to the restaurant actually have no idea that the first step they're taking here is on top of a sculpture, and it's the work of Daniel Turner. I mean, in terms of collecting, I feel privileged that I know a lot of artists, and I think it's great to have sort of a relationship to the work and to build a collection around that relationship that's personal to you. I really love Sarah Crowner's Navy and Sky with Corners. Sarah is a close friend and an artist that I've been admiring for a long time. I really love her abstract work that at times also can be figurative, and you can really feel the craft of the painting and the hand of the artist in each of those panels, and then they are sewn together in such a beautiful way. And it's really a work that speaks to me. I personally actually have one of her works in my living room, which I feel very blessed and inspired by. In fact, at the end of the meal at 11 Madison Park, we have these beautiful blue glass bottles and then hand-blown glasses in all these different vibrant colors. But the end of the meal at 11 Madison Park comes to conclusion with Sarah Crowner. So the idea for the art was sort of set by the sculpture by Daniel Turner, the idea of stepping over something to be in the present where we honor the past as well going forward. Before this painting, there was another painting here by a New York artist called Steve Aoki, and he painted the Madison Square Park. So it was kind of a very sort of obvious and logical continuation of bringing the park inside the restaurant. So I knew we wanted to kind of honor that painting that was there before. So the idea of erasing what was there before to start new was sort of in my mind. Rita has been known to do these incredible chalkboard paintings, and it was kind of clear that it had to be on chalkboard. It's an abstract version of the painting that was here before. You can see very subtly there's like the fountain is sort of on the bottom. In the middle there is sort of like a couple that's kissing. That wasn't part of the original painting, but it's there. And then of course the tree and the skyline sort of behind it. For me, a chalkboard is kind of a beautiful thing because it's about learning, it's about teaching, it's about creating, but then it's also so much about erasing and new beginnings. So it was a perfect pair with the Daniel Turner step. I mean, the two are really in harmony of the story they're telling. The Etel Non tapestry, such a special work. I became familiar with her work around 10 years ago at the MoMA here in New York. And she was such a multidisciplinary artist. She was only get to be known as an artist very late in her life, maybe in her 70s or so. To me, I really love tapestries. You really see that they're, made by hand. They're very soulful. And when you get to see a good one, it's extremely special. Most people don't realize that above the door, we have these beautiful glass stained windows that an artist, Olympia Scary, created. The work is called 1111. There's actually 11 glass stained windows on either side. She made these glasses with broken glass that was left over from the renovation. I love how this work just really fits into the architecture and it feels like it's always been here. Even if people are not realizing what they are, you do feel the soul of it and the spirit of it. There is something spiritual about this room. Alex Katz's night paintings, 4 panels. They're more quiet paintings, I would say, of Alex Katz's work. I feel the light is darker than some of those sun-filled paintings, and you really feel the movement of this dancer, choreographer. And he's such an icon of New York City, and I just couldn't not choose that work. New York had just such a great moment in art. I have a soft spot for New York. You're usually used to seeing Keith Haring busier, but having just one of those forms on a canvas is very striking and very powerful. And I love how Keith Haring is very much of an activist, and in all of his works you are very much confronted with some issues that he's addressing. I think great art is confronting you with certain things. It's almost becomes like a mirror to your psyche, or it makes you think, and that painting definitely makes me think. This is the Rashid Johnson bar. It's kind of like a permanent mini Guggenheim show because every piece in here is curated by Rashid. I sort of think of it as a one work, even though there's dozens of pieces, from like an older wax painting to the broken man to the anxious audience. The ceiling is filled with stars. We have drawings, but then we have also many ceramics behind the bar. It's just so special when you get to interact with work with such close proximity. A lot of artists are attracted also to this, to show the art in a space where people can get closer to than as they could in a museum. Chant du Buffet, Bon Entrant, it's from the Theater of Memory series. I was really happy to see this painting in person. Obviously, Chant du Buffet is an incredible artist, but in this painting in particular, it's a collage, and that really comes across when you see it in person, almost sculptural. There are abstract elements, but then there's also these figures. For me, they make me smile. Just another incredible artist, and what a beautiful piece. Well, I'm so happy to see one of Ronnie Horn's work here. Luck is Not a Chance. The text is taken of a Emily Dickinson poem, who I also very much love, but I love Ronnie so much. I think she's one of the greatest artists of all time. I was lucky to see her retrospective at the Louisiana Museum in Copenhagen last year, and she's just brilliant, and this is a brilliant piece of work that really represents who she is as an artist. Well, here we're in the staircase to the Clemente Bar with this beautiful painting. It's called The Tree of Life. I think Francesco is one of the closest people in my life, and we share a lot of time together and a lot of meals, and he always joked that Bellini has a drink named after him and that he wanted a drink after him. And so one thing led to the next. The drink eventually became an entire bar. I just said, everything just has to be joyful. We built this scaffolding here, and he literally spent, a week every night here and painted this by himself. It's unbelievable. Of course, the eye in the middle, which is kind of funny too. Philip Guston paintings. It's a drawing on paper. His drawings are brilliant. His paintings are almost like drawings. This is an exceptional work because it has all the elements or objects that are in a lot of his paintings, from the light bulbs to the nails, to the book, to the shoe, all these very classic elements all in one piece. Philip Guston for me is a great inspiration because he went from figuration to abstract painting, became one of the poster childs of the abstract expressionist movement here in New York. And sort of when he started to be at the height of that, he sort of turned his back on it and went back to figurative painting. So I think he very much went his own way. He didn't follow the fashion. He's one of my favorite artists of all time. Here we are in the space of the Clemente Bar. This is sort of our latest room that we created. It's a real labor of love, this space. Obviously, it's all about Francesco. Again, he had full carte blanche. I like many things, as long as the voice is very clear. We made these lamps, these mushroom lamps on the walls with an artist, Karsten Holler. And then all the furniture is made by Brett Robinson, who is an incredible furniture maker, but he made these stools, and he made the tables, he made the bar stools, and the tables are such that there's a light, and then the food can sit on top. So at night, the light is really special in here. Everyone looks beautiful. And then of course we had Brad Clopefield, who is the architect for the space, who created these incredible wooden panels with these handmade wooden insets. So there's hundreds of handmade wooden pieces interset in these wooden panels, which adds to feeling really soulful, feeling really handmade. This is a real toolbox. Really every corner in this restaurant is been thought of. Joan Mitchell, that work makes you smile, makes you emotional. It's very moving. This piece in particular, it's very bright. It reminds you of being sort of in that place in France in the summer. A lot of people make the connection with Monet, which makes obviously sense since she has done, and in particular this painting, she's done in the same place Monet lived, but I also think she stands very much on her own, and I think she's one of the great painters in the history of painting. And I absolutely love the work, and I love this work. It's a smaller work. I actually do happen to like the small works as well, especially when they're so powerful and so strong. And this would be a painting I would love to have.
We know where you can get it.
Just being surrounded with creative people is the way I navigate in this world, and to be true to who you are and really put the work out that's close to your heart. If people like it or don't like it, but you can't really be wrong when you do that. And I think that's something I've learned a lot from these artists, that in a way, like, the more you push, you're gonna find yourself with people who love you as a creator more than ever, but then also have people who like it less. And I think that's when you know you're doing really good work.